This is an omoplata. For years, I believed that the omoplata was a stupid technique. That if you couldn't finish somebody with something, why were you bothering to use it? They're just going to roll. Like, what's the point? And then Ricardo Almeida gave me some like super helpful insights on how to make the omoplata an effective technique. Like, literally changed my opinion of the omoplata. Made it a thing that is possible to finish. Now, along that route towards finishing people, it is still very, very likely that your opponent is going to be able to do something to slow you down, something to stop you. But what I found is that the omoplata is one of my more versatile techniques now. It allows me to do more things. Not that it necessarily is going to submit somebody or that it'll necessarily guaranteed sweep somebody, but it's easy to enter into, and there's lots of places you can go from it. Right? It's become a good transitional position for me. So we're going to take a look at what we do if we can't break our opponent all the way down, right?
So we're in our overhook again. And now as I get to this side, my opponent realizes that if he drives into me, bad things happen. And if he's lazy on this arm, bad things happen, right? So instead, he decides that he's either going to stay put, or some people will even go that way. They'll go away from you, right? And they're like, this is safer than anything else I could do, right? All of those instincts, that instinct, that gives me my omoplata, right? So if he's going away, I'll go for this. Otherwise, if you just want it, you're like, damn, man, I've been trying everything, and this fucking triangle won't happen. I'll take both hands to his temple, and I'll push it away. Now, I leave my knee on the back of his shoulder, and my knee is currently functioning like a whizzer, right? So my knee is coming up, and I'm pushing my knee to the ground, and that's what's breaking his posture here, right? So you see that if I needed to drive more, I backed up a little bit. That allows me to drive this knee to the ground more. I'm going to flip my leg around, and I tuck it real tight to his collarbone here. You see him backing up. That's because of how hard I'm curling my heel to my butt, right? Now, I'm going to build up to this hand, and I'm going to cover his hips to make sure he doesn't roll, okay? It's a race for head height here, guys. Once I get him in this omoplata, if he gets his head up faster than I get my head up, it's very likely that I'm going to lose my omoplata, right? He's going to stall me out. He's going to escape. He's going to do whatever he wants to do, right? So as soon as we get here, I build up, right? Because if I stay here, he's either going to get head height or he's going to get hip height and he's going to hop over me, right? Pop up to your feet and awesome, right? He jumps over me. So I can stop those two things by coming up onto a kickstand and putting this hand up high. I don't have to block his hip right away. Matter of fact, it's actually kind of hard to grab his hip right away. Let's rotate him. Right? It can be hard to grab this hip initially. All right, so initially I block, and then I'll straighten, and that's when I switch my hip, okay? But you're not always gonna be able to get that shoulder to the floor. Sometimes that guy's just too strong, right? So I'm gonna keep this grip here. I'm gonna put my foot behind me, and I'm gonna build my way up, right? I can put my hand on his hip. I'm gonna swing my leg over, and I'm gonna pin his wrist to his back with my belly. Right, so I'm looking for this. I'm gonna get his back, but if you can, this is optimal, right? It's gonna allow me to very easily leave his arm in here, right? His arm is behind his back because of the positioning of my legs and my belly. And that's not to say that he can't fight it out of here if you're not sloppy and you hang out here for a while, like he'll get it back. But like, I just took away his hand. That's one less thing for him to fight me with. I would much rather fight a one-armed man than a two-armed man, right? So we get into this omoplata, however we get into it, right? I push, right? I connect to the collarbone, I sit up, and you're not able to get him broken down the same way you want, right? So I gotta go, let's rotate. I can't have you guys trying to like push off the sides of your feet and expect you're gonna get up. Like, step this foot behind you, right? I see a lot of people, they put it behind you, and they're like, okay, my foot's behind me, like, okay, awesome. Like, how, you can't use that foot. Step it behind you, right? I'm gonna maintain his elbow for a minute, and I'm gonna use my hand and my foot to step that leg over the top. Now look, seatbelt, I'm gonna put my shoulder on the back of his head and I'm gonna roll over. Hand fight, rear naked, right? If that doesn't work, we can go into all sorts of other submissions. I'm doing that shit on the wrong side, right? We got a whole bunch of stuff that we can do from the back, and it all becomes easier because he's a one-armed man, okay? So we're still looking for that omoplata. I would still rather break him flat and tear his arm off of his body. Because I'll take his back after I tear his arm off his body if it doesn't finish him, right? But if you find that guy who's just, he's not giving you what you want, you're not able to break his posture down, but he's also not picking himself up, he's just stabilized and he's waiting on you, cool, homie, keep waiting, I'm gonna take your back.